momento te recuerda que clama por inteligencia y pide entendimiento. Búscalos como si fueran plata, como si fueran tesoros escondidos. En Aliento Radio.
We are on. Yeah. Hello, Houston, and hello, world. This is Vicky Cruz with the Hero Network. And we were just talking about how this is our very last show. But before we get started, of course, always here by my right side is one and only, AKA
the adult.
The work husband that literally has to keep me in mind. Are we on? Okay,
Yes,
no, porque I can't hear nothing. Just
Yeah, we Jose Luis, we need sound in the.
Okay. Oh, is that what that is? Thank you so much. So, Houston and world, we have yes, you are exciting. Let me tell you why. This organization that we are going to introduce you to, it's an organization that so vital for every person's life. If you are dealing with any sort of trauma, I mean, who doesn't face death? You know, and I'm going to introduce to you now Julie Hogg with Bo's Place.
Hello, everyone. Happy to be here.
Thank you so much, Julie. And of course, Victor, you didn't get to say much. I am going to take it back to Victor because Victor always has something just to say besides
Yeah,
telling me.
the work husband, the adult in the room. Because we are going through a transition and we're almost starting 2025. 2025 with everything that we got going on, Vicky. It's like we had a graduation yesterday.
Yes, we did. We had a really cool graduation with our heroes.
Yes.
We graduated at about 47, and it was so cool. It was just the sweetest thing. Greg Kumpian, we thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts for just being a part. Houston Velocity, the Servants of Christ Church. So we had the Heroes to Heroes with Poncho Claus as well. That was a part of it. And so it was just a night to remember, you know, just amazing. I mean, you know, think about it. One of our last projects for 2024.
The last project, the last cohort. Yeah.
The last cohort. Remember when we
went
had
out
our
with
first?
a bang.
We went out with a huge bang, and we are so ready for 2025 with our Hero Academy Teen Summit on January the 11th. So we'll have more information. In the meantime, we want to take it back to Bo's Place. Now, I've known Bo's Place since my days working in wraparound in the HISD. Well, actually, it was, I think, prior. You guys been around for a while now. How long has that been, Julie?
35 years. So we are getting ready to celebrate our 35th year in Houston as Bo's Place.
Bo's Place, yes, because I remember it back in the day when we, maybe just even years ago, 20 years ago, when I would work in the streets, with the Houston, with the disadvantage, walking and I so remember Bo's Place being there for such a time when people are grieving. And so 35 years, how was this organization founded?
So it was started by a family whose son, Bo Nyhouse, he died of, he had liver cancer, and while he was still alive, he told his parents that he really wanted something to remember him. He wanted some legacy left behind. And so after he died, they actually his parents started it was more of a call center, so people could just call in and they could talk to someone, just about their grief. And then through the years, Bo's Place expanded, so we moved into a small home that was close to the medical center, and groups started running from that facility. And then in 2006, we opened our facility located on Buffalo Speedway, and now we are able to serve a lot more families in that capacity.
So this is a call center that is operated 24/7?
So it's not a call center anymore. So that's kind of the way it started.
Okay.
But now what we offer peer support groups. So anyone who is grieving themselves or is supporting someone that's grieving can call in, and between our business hours of 8:30 to 5:30, and they can call in, and there is always a clinician there who can take the call and talk to them. And if our groups are not a fit for them, then we have resources that we provide. Sometimes people need individual therapy or counseling.
So let me ask you this: as far as we're always going to go back to COVID. I want to go back into the COVID days when, did your phone lines or your services expand, or how did the COVID affect?
So during COVID, we obviously shut down, and we weren't able to provide in-person groups. So we quickly shifted to online. We had not done online groups before, and we shifted to that. And now we offer our family program online. Our adults group is offered online. So our pregnancy loss group is online. So we expanded, and we just shifted, and now we are back in person. So now we have both. People can either come to our facility in person, or they can join an online group.
Okay.
So just to understand your services, you can offer both virtual support as well as in person. This is done via Zoom, or how is it?
Yes, it's done via Zoom. So our adult group runs for 9 weeks. Our family online group runs for 8 weeks. So prior to a family joining the group, everything is mailed to them. Everything that they might need, the children, any activity that we might be doing each week, they get that in the mail. And then, so they're ready to go, and they'll receive a Zoom link. So there's a coordinator for those groups.
So this is a structured program.
It is structured. It runs for 9 weeks. The adult group runs for 9 weeks. The family group runs for 8 weeks. And after that, there's an ongoing group. So we offer a group every second and fourth Monday, and we have bilingual. So we have English speaking and bilingual groups, and folks can come for as long as they need to come.
Is there any in person?
There is. So we offer in-person groups on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and those groups run for 9 weeks as well. And then after the family finishes that 9 weeks, then they can transfer on into an ongoing group that runs every second and fourth Monday for as long as they'd like to come. Our groups start at the age of 3. So we run the children ages 3 to 18. And the children are with other children who have similar age and have experienced a similar death. And at the same time, adults are meeting with other adults. And, it just creates an environment to where there's peer support. So they're supporting each other. Our groups are run by trained volunteers, so it isn't counseling or therapy. But it just gives individuals a chance, and children a chance and adults to just not feel so alone. The grief journey can be a very lonely one and very isolating.
Exactly. And this is one of the reasons why we felt like during this time is so important that we're mindful on our surroundings, the people around us, our loved ones. I personally experienced my first, heartache death with the 9-year-old. When I was 9 years old, my best friend died. And he passed away due to leukemia. We were on our way to go drop off pizza. And I remember his name was Arnold. You know, he was. We got the call. He's like, he didn't make it, and my heart was crushed. I was like, so he's gone. And he's like that. But I never knew. It wasn't until, I was 30 years old. I remember just driving just through the street, through downtown on the freeway 45 and thinking about him. And I just bawled because I never really just grieved him. I thought about him and I thought what is the misconceptions that you see with the grieving process?
Well, I think, at Beau's Place, one of our beliefs is that everybody has a unique journey. Everybody loves uniquely, and all relationships are unique. And so that journey is going to be unique. So I think the misconception can sometimes be that you're expected to feel a certain way, that there's expected to be a timeline for that grief. Well, it's been a year. Surely you're over it by now. And that's just not the case. Everybody is grieving differently and uniquely. And so I think just realizing and knowing that's a personal journey. And so, as you said, you were 30 and you were still having these feelings. So it changes through the years, but you still have those feelings.
Yeah, but I really don't think that it was even talked about, maybe because parents don't know to talk about it and don't think that children hurt and that they're also grieving as well, to say, hey, are you okay? And really talk about the whole death process of what happens. Because as a little child, you really don't know. And that, I think, even happened when I was 15 years old. When I was 15 years old and I lost my grandmother, I really didn't deal with the death. I just knew that, hey, she's gone, went to heaven, and that was happy, until again, later in life, I was like just bawling for her. I was like, grandma's gone. Like, it really hit me harder. But Victor, what do you think?
I was going to ask you, Julie, two questions. So is there a cost for this service, or is this provided free to the community?
No, thank you for asking. So yeah, it is free.
Okay.
So our services are free. We get that question a lot. People will call in and say, do you take insurance, and what's the cost? And there is no cost.
Okay.
We are absolutely free to families.
I've dabbled. I wouldn't say I'm an expert in this, but the Eastern philosophy is completely different to the Western philosophy about death. Mm-hmm. Have you done any studies in that particular area?
We really haven't, and I haven't.
Okay.
We are open to, we are non-denominational.
So here's my contribution to this. Death is just as natural as birth. Mm-hmm. And the Eastern philosophy not only accepts it, but they prepare, in the culture, they prepare everyone for death, which in the Western culture, like you said, Vicky, is like, what do you do with those feelings when you have that loss? You don't know what to do with them. So it's great that this agency provides those services, that education. Talking about what you're feeling is part of the healing journey, part of the process. I once worked, and again, this affects everybody. I once worked with a clinician. She's a LPC that I was doing a training on how the mind works, and I used her as subject matter. And she had lost her mother 12 years in the past. And when I asked her to explain to me how she represented the loss, she broke down bawling because she hadn't never put closure to the process.
And that was the point to where I was getting at with, just even in a culture, because in our culture, in the Hispanic culture, it's like you've got to be strong and you just move on. Or I've seen where in our culture as well, because they're really big on candles. My mother grieved in her family going 20 plus years to the cemetery, keeping a candle lit, staying and just making sure, hey, oh my gosh, the storm, I got to go check out the candles and make sure they're lighting. Yeah. And so we really looked at it and said, hey, you know what, we've got to really talk about this grieving process. You've got to just we've got to let go.
I want to go back. I actually want to go further back in our culture, because in ancient Latin American cultures, there was the tradition of a wake. A wake is a celebration of life that lasts for days and weeks, to where you talk about the life of the deceased, and everyone gathers. There's food, there is alcohol. I mean, this is how they dealt with death in those times, and it was very healing because again, if you look at the dynamics, it's some of the same as what you guys do as far as just celebrating life, just talking about what you're feeling, remembering, so that you don't just stuff your feelings and your memories and move on in this Western business muck life society that everything is fast. The person is gone, move on.
So what do you find as far as if we have to, what we're describing, of course, our personal experience, we're like, give us the coaching, give me the coaching. No, I'm just joking. But, what do you find? I mean, if you're talking to someone, from different cultures, is there one?
So, I think what we found is we're all very similar, and death is death. And
Yes.
there's not a lot of difference between, all of we recently had a panel discussion. It was an event at Bo's Place where we had four different faiths come and talk about death. And I attended the training, and what I took away was that we're all very similar. That impacts everybody, and a lot of the experiences that people go through, the emotions, the physical feelings that they experience are all very similar. And so, at Bo's Place with the groups, what we really hope again is that the participants connect, and the activities that we do help them sort of incorporate that person who has died, just incorporate their memory into their life, so that they're not forgetting the person that died. That's not what we want to see happen, but just incorporating that person's memory. So we do a lot of activities where the children remember their person and things that their person liked, and how are they similar to that person, so that it just helps them kind of move through their grief journey. So it's more incorporating that person, not forgetting about them,
Sure.
and moving on, as
Sure.
you were saying.
Right.
Do you feel that maybe people will also have guilt letting go? That you think that guilt may be one of the reasons why they hold on a little bit tighter?
Oh yeah, I think guilt is definitely one of the emotions, and it's one of the when we do different activities where we're letting the participants talk about some of their feelings. Guilt is a big one, and with children too, and especially coming up to the holidays, there's that guilt of it's a time where families are together and they're celebrating, and that feeling of guilt. Should I be sad or should I be celebrating? And moving on and creating new memories. That's definitely something we see where people feel guilty even moving on. They feel like they've left that person behind. But we work really hard to, just to help them incorporate. You're not leaving them behind, but you're bringing them with you. With new memories. You're
Absolutely.
still making new memories. So.
And what would be the actual stages of grieving?
Well, and we don't really, there's those. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross had those stages of grieving, and we don't really go by those. We do tasks of mourning, where there are different tasks that people are going to move through. Just accepting the death and creating new memories, and they're going to move back and forth. So we don't really define those stages, because, as we know, grief is all over the place. It isn't a structured.
Yeah, it's not a linear process.
It's not a linear process, and that's what we just help people.
You can
just
have the
realize.
theory, but that
You
doesn't
can
mean
have the
anything as
theory.
far as how you're going to put that closure,
Yeah.
that scar over the loss.
Yeah, it's people move in and out of it, and you can move in and out of it for years.
Yeah.
It's not a, and I think that's where those stages kind of, denial and accept, they sort of got confused, because, it's not, you can't put it in a box. It's messy and all over the place. So.
How long have you been with Bo's Place?
So I actually, I was a participant at Bo's Place. So I came through Bo's Place with my two young sons in 2000 after the death of my husband. And then I stayed at Bo's Place until 2003. So I stayed there for 3 years coming through the program. And then in 2017, I decided to start volunteering. I went back and got my master's, and now I'm on staff there. So I've had a whole journey with Bo's Place, and for me, I really saw what it did for me, and the support that it gave me, and me getting the support I needed in a group helped me help my sons. So I saw the I saw what it
You're a
it's done
native,
for
not
me.
a tourist.
Yeah, I am. And so, I'm very proud of what we do and very honored to, it's an honor to be with the families and to hear all that they're experiencing.
On
and to
average, how
support them.
many people do you serve per year?
We probably have on average, there's probably 200 or 300 families, more than that, maybe
That's a
that
big
come
impact.
through.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we, and now that we've started the online, and we recently started serving all of Texas. So we were formerly we were just in the Houston area with the surrounding counties, and now we're open to anyone in Texas. So we have, families that drive from Lake Jackson and drive from, Beaumont. Families can come in person, but this online group really allows people to join from anywhere in Texas.
Hey, Julian, what are the signs, that someone would need some bereavement counseling?
Well, I think a lot of the times what we hear is, things. A lot of times at the beginning, people think they're okay and they can get through this, and they don't need any support. And then later on, they realize, there's some things going on. They're not processing it very well. With children, a lot of times it's mistaken as bad behavior. We see this in schools, where children are going into schools and they're grieving, so they're acting out, they're expressing anger, they're isolated, and so we see that a lot. So it can and sometimes everybody thinks they're okay at the beginning, and then it takes a little time, and they realize they're not quite able to get through it. And children especially, it's we do have a school group program, so we work with Yes Prep, KIP, and Communities in Schools. So they help us target schools where there is a need, and we take our groups into the schools, and we meet with the kids for 6 weeks, which is amazing. That's truly a wonderful thing that Bo's Place does.
Well, I really hope that, as I mentioned to you and to our community, that on January the 11th, we will have our Hero Academy Teen Summit, and really hoping that you can join. As I mentioned to you earlier, at Milby High School, we recently endured a loss of a buffalo, and he was hit by a train, 15 years old. And with our Teen Academy, we've asked the Bo's Place to be there to talk to our youth about grieving, the grieving process. And so, I really hope you can make it. One of your teammates can make it, or what have you. So to provide these resources to let the children know that there is a process. It's okay. Not a process. There's not a process, like they said. There's not a process, but that grieving is real. And it's okay to cry, right? It's okay to let it out, to expose, to take on the memories, and so we thank you for that.
Yeah, all emotions are okay. That's what we say at Bo's Place. All emotions are okay. There's even going to be some joy in there, and so a lot of the activities we do with the children. So anyone that needs support is welcome to call us, and there is a registration process. There's a short intake we do, and a registration process to get enrolled in a group. But it's pretty easy process.
And again, there's no cost.
Can't beat that.
You can't beat that. I know. I may have to sign up. Just make sure all the
Make sure that you bloom all those old feelings that you try to stuff.
Well, now that just being 51 years old, and as we've journeyed, I just exposed my age, but so as we've journeyed on, right, we know that we're more like on the latter days, and it's like, okay, we're be prepared, and prepare your children, and prepare and embrace the fact that one day, we won't be here. And so now it's just journeying on, saying, every day it's just a day to just express, to be grateful for. And every day it's a new day to make a change. And so,
And I just want to say that, we will be having an open house at Bo's Place on February the 2nd between 2 and 4. So anyone that would like to come and see our facility and really see what we do, we're going to have some activities, and we'll also be doing we do some trainings in the community twice a year. We do a Good Grief for School Professionals, and we have that coming up on the 31st, where people can come to our facility and just learn more. We know that at Bo's Place, we are not going to reach all the people that are grieving and all the families and children that are grieving. So we provide these trainings so that we help others who are on the front lines, who are really, really going to be in touch with the children. And so we'll have those two things coming up.
Julie, there's always poster child stories. In your experience, 2024, what is one or two experiences that really showcase the importance of the work that Bo's Place is doing, that you witnessed, that you saw firsthand, the healing process, the grieving process, the facilitating or accelerating the journey?
Well, I think I think my own story is certainly one. But we hear many families that come through. They're just they're broken. There's this loss and this piece missing that's hard to put back together. And it truly is amazing to see the shift in the families and in the children that once they come in and they see a shift. So there are many stories like this.
Right.
I mean, the children especially. I facilitate a school group, and just to see the children come in and they're very shy and they don't really want to talk about it, and then they realize that everybody in that room, they might be different ages, they're all in elementary school, but they have connected with each other and they know that they're not alone. So there are many stories of families that
What are some of the? I'm sorry, that happened.
No, go ahead.
No.
Just there are many families that have had this, had a shift.
So what would be the major, like the challenges that this organization faces?
Well, I think just reaching all of the families. That's certainly something that we're always striving to do, is outreach, trying to make sure that people know about Bo's Place and know that it's a free service. And we have been, as I said, we've been in Houston for 35 years. So I think just getting the word out. That's one of the reasons we're doing this open house, is just to say we're here, and having the online portion is very helpful.
We'll have your webpage in the comments of this streaming show that viewers can watch the recording.
That's right. We'll do that. And of course, any literature that you would have. We know that here recently, we were at an apartment complex where this family had, their dad had left, right? And the father had abandoned the children. And just a couple of years ago, 2.5 years ago, the mother passed away. So these 6 children were left. And then of the 6 children, the oldest, which was about 19, had passed away. So these little ones had no daddy, no mama, and had to endure the pain of a little one. So I definitely want to reach out, which I've talked to them, and I had made mention. I said, hey, there's an organization. And I really didn't hear back, but I really want to follow up with this family, the young children. They went through the HERO program. Mm-hmm. And it was just amazing to see how much the one little one did a testimonial right after the HERO program. We talked to them, and she was just, she felt so much better. And she made mention that her siblings have felt better. She's like, thank you so much, because we were able to reach in going into apartments. So nutshell, we want to be able to connect. I'll reach out to this family again to see if they need that. But most importantly, as we reach into the apartments, we want to be able to bring you in with us. So where we go, you go. Because again, this is what we're about. Together we can do more. There's just no way that we can conquer together alone. We've got to do it together. And so any information that you would have, again, and of course, we welcome you to come speak at the Teen Summit, to speak to the children, the students who, again, are suffering. You're probably working with Milby already, CIS and what have you out there?
I don't know that we are. So we'll be in I think 18 schools by the time this year is over. I think we're in 6 right now, and then we'll be in some more. So I do think we have been to Milby before, but I'm not sure. So, but yeah, and it may not be right now. It may be next semester or next year that we would coordinate with them, to have the school group at their school.
Absolutely. Victor, do you have any other questions?
Julie, do you guys have just the one location, or do you have multiple centers?
We currently just have the in-person location, which is at 10050 Buffalo Speedway. Mm-hmm. So we're right outside 610 Loop, across from NRG, and we are looking to open up a Katy facility. We had a location in Katy, and during COVID, it closed down and did not reopen, but we are looking forward to opening up that location in Katy.
What's the easiest way that individuals or families can seek your services? Do they go online? Do they call? What do you recommend?
So they can go to our they can call us at 713-942-8339. We are bowsplace.org, so we can be found online easily. And I'll be sure you probably have the website down there. And then they can also info@bowsplace.org. They can send an email, and it comes directly into us. And then, if they send an email, we reach out, or if they call, like I said, it's a pretty quick turnaround.
You had made mention, Julie, about coming in, joining online. Did you share the times for that one?
So the family groups meet on the adults meet on a Monday, the children's groups meet on a Tuesday, and like I said, they run for 8 weeks. There might be a break, and then they will start again. And then the in-person groups the family groups are either Tuesday or Thursday from 6:15 to 8:15. There's either a potluck meal, or sometimes we have wonderful organizations that provide the meals for us. And then the kids and adults go into group between 7 and 8, and then we do a short closing. And like I said, when they come through these time-limited groups, once they finish that, there's always an ongoing group. So I have families in the ongoing group that come every second and fourth Monday of the month, and they've been coming for years and years. And, our activities, we have 2 years of activities that we rotate. So they're not doing the same activities. So it's different every time the families come.
So to be a volunteer, how long is that, or what's the qualifications to become a volunteer?
Yeah, so we have twice a year, we run a volunteer facilitator training. It's about a day and a half of training where individuals come and they just kind of learn about groups and what issues might come up in a group. But again, they're not counselors or therapists, so we call them, they're kind of the plants in the room. They're not doing any talking. It's really the children supporting each other and the adults. And so, yes, if anybody wants to volunteer, they can also reach out at that info at Bose. So all of our groups are run by trained volunteers. And we also have volunteers that just come in and help us prepare the activities. We could not do this without the volunteers. So
we got 2 minutes, Vicki.
Okay. I know. And what is it that you would want the viewers to know?
So I would just say, anyone that's grieving, that has facing, the death of someone they love, or they're trying to support someone, they know someone, they're welcome to reach out and call and talk to us about the groups. And then if our groups are not a good fit, we can provide resources for anticipatory death, for pet loss death. We have resources that we can connect individuals to. So.
Great.
And thank you so much for everything you do in the community, because as you said, it's people working together, but you all do some amazing work. So
thank you.
Well, we have to. I mean, we have children to take care of, and it's a village, right? Because I feel like if we don't, we don't take care of ourselves, right? If we don't learn and teach our little ones, I mean, it'll just create more, pain for the future. And so in the meantime, to all, thank you so much, Julie, for being here with us and all the work that you do and have done. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts. And to our viewers, we want to wish you a Merry Christmas. And we pray that, if you need help, that that Bose Place is here. Reach out, bowsplace.org. And, we are so excited about 2025. We thank all our supporters, our sponsors, our partners, our viewers for sharing this, and just all the support that you give us. I mean, this is just the beginning, and there's more to come. We're really excited, but just follow us. Follow us on mission1usa.com, Mission One USA on Facebook. Victor has us hooked up everywhere and anywhere. Victor.
Thank you, Jose Luis, for producing the show. Thank you, Aliento Radio.
Yes, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Houston, again. And Happy New Year 2024. We will see you.
We'll see you in 2025.
2025.
Merry Christmas.